Members of the company, this is your Places call. Places, please. Places for the top of the podcast. Places, please.
Get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at the glitz and not-so-glam of Broadway, education, and everyday life with Uncommon Sense. Join hosts Christopher Smith and Sharna Lopez as they bring you the best stories and shenanigans that seemingly prove how elusive common sense can really be. So take a little time for yourself to hang out with the dynamic duo Charnopher. And no leaving early, because you might just miss that 11 o'clock number.
Stand by music. Music, go.
Uncommon sense, the 11 o'clock number. And we are Charnopher.
Hi, everybody. We just did our TV count-in on our own over here, which makes us giggle. Hello.
Yeah, and I did it pretty good. I learned last week not to count 3, 2, 1, but I forgot, so I counted 3. But I didn't count 2.
I feel like now you'd be okay with a two count buffer. You'd be okay.
Great.
We got it together.
I mean, I'm pretty good at editing, so I feel like I could be good.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. We're back.
So last week we talked about movies that got turned into musicals.
Yes, where there's like a million of them. As we started talking about it, I was like, man, there's a lot.
Yeah. And they had a terrible list last week. We'll see if we have a better list this week.
You know what's interesting? After we recorded, I shared that list with a few people I was talking with throughout the day that know this business. And they were all like, what? Like, what is that list? I was like, I know. Christopher started reading them out and I was like, no. I feel like maybe at the end of this episode, we could make our own list of both. Even if it's top 5. We'll do top 5 because maybe it'll take us a little while. But
Great.
I feel like we need to make a new list and publish it.
Great.
On uncommonpod.com.
We'll do it. It'll be there. You can see our list. So today we're talking about the reverse. We're going to talk about musicals that were made into movies.
Film adaptations. And it's been recently, I feel like there have been more. Growing up, there weren't a lot for us. And then I feel like there were a handful of them over the years. And then these last several years, there have been quite a few.
Yeah, I think it's gone in phases a little bit, but I think we probably do have the most currently being produced in the last 5-10 years.
Question for you, Christopher, today. Does a movie to a musical back to a movie count? Like, what if there's a revival of the movie? Because I have a couple in mind that have done that, I think
that's okay. I think it just has to originally be a musical.
Okay. So if it was a movie first and then a musical and then a movie again, that doesn't count. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think so. That would have been last week's.
Got it. My bad.
Because it was a movie.
I'm on the wrong episode. Sorry about that. We need to do an edit.
Go back to the other episode. Rewind.
I haven't had my coffee. I got my Ragnar Yeti mug back again. I feel like it's a staple.
Yes.
Except I really just want this right here. I mean, I love Ragnar and I'm very proud, but I'd love for it to have our logo right there.
I know.
Uncommon
we need
pod.
to get on that.
We're going to work on that.
My fault.
We're going to work on that, friends.
To work with. Okay, so let's see what I have here. All right, so it's another kind of random website, but this one is movieweb.com.
Is it ranking them or is it just giving us a list?
It is ranking them.
Okay.
It is ranking them.
Okay.
And it seems like it did 14.
Okay.
So I think we'll talk about each one.
With a quick glance at the list, how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling terrible.
Okay.
I would have reordered a few things probably.
Got it.
Either way.
Okay.
All right. So coming in at number 14 on this list is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Okay. Did you see the movie?
Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
Okay. I actually feel like I'm in the minority in saying I really like the movie.
I like the movie.
A lot of people I've talked to. Yeah?
Twins. Yeah. Oh, I loved the movie. I loved the movie.
I did too.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, rah, 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 rah. Like all my like theater nerd friends. They're
really?
Like, blah, blah,
blah.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, what did you like about it?
I actually liked the fact that it was so cinematically interesting because it was Tim Burton. He like puts his weird spin on it, and I feel if any musical can handle a weird like movie spin, it would be Sweeney Todd.
I feel like if it wasn't Tim Burton that did it, it should have been Baz Luhrmann. Like the two, those are like the two vibes that I feel like could fit in Sweeney Todd. I personally love Johnny Depp, so for me that was a huge part of it. But what you said is exactly the reason I liked it. And I think so when we went to see it, or I mean maybe we watched it at home, I don't know. But Jerry had never seen the stage musical, and he was just like blown away by the movie because I think you can the darkness of it all and the dare I say horror, but there's some horror moments in that show.
No, it's totally a horror movie.
And you can get that vibe on stage. You definitely can. But I feel like cinematically you're able to capture that a bit more, and so some of those scenes were more intense for me. Yeah. Spoiler alert, if you've never seen Sweeney Todd and you don't want to know about it, pause us. go to our next episode.
Skip ahead.
I feel like the furnace part, like in the show, it always gets me, but in the movie, that scene when they're dancing around at the end, I just got chills thinking about it. I really liked it. And you know what? Something I really love about the show too or the movie, I'm sorry, the opening credits. Do you remember the opening credits at all?
Yes.
Where the blood is like dripping through the stuff. That's the way it started. And I was like, this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Another moment I really liked in the movie that I don't like in the musical is, the song's going to escape me, but it's when they go to the beach.
Oh, yeah. By the Sea.
By the Sea. Yeah. I was thinking Atlantic City from Ragtime. I'm like, that's not the right song.
Different show.
I think in the musical, you don't, at least when I've seen it, you don't get that sort of like huge change from where they are currently into this imaginary dream world. In the movie, it's Tim Burton does that very well.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I can't believe that's 14. I'm interested to see what the other ones are.
We're just going to say we're doing this in reverse order. Number 14 is the best one. But I also, I'm so glad you mentioned the opening credits because I also love I'm apparently going to spend all my time on this podcast talking about rearranging and orchestrating.
But that's your expertise. You should. That's cool.
But I loved the reorchestration. Like the original's good, but the movie version is my favorite.
Do you know who worked on that?
When that organ comes in.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's so good. It's
great in the musical, but whatever organ they used for the movie soundtrack, I was dead.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to crash my car because I'm like in a nirvana moment. I'm in a fugue state.
It's so good.
A fugue state. Do you know why that's funny?
I do, because a fugue. I get it.
Right, like a fugue
music people. Music people can laugh.
Music people.
Oh man. Okay, what's 13, man. Christopher? We're 8 minutes on Sweeney Todd.
From that. I don't care. It's
I love it. And I've always wanted to direct that show, and I feel like now some of the inspiration clearly taken from the book, but the movie. I think there's some things in there that you can just like pull from. You know, I really liked
especially
it.
now
Who
that
played
so many
Miss
things
Lovett
are projection.
in the movie? Oh, what's her Helen Bonham Carter. Helena Bonham Carter.
Correct.
Got it. She was great too.
Correct. But I was going to say, especially with projections where they are now, like we could get some killer projections.
Yeah.
Killer projections.
Oh my gosh, you and all the puns today.
Man, I know the other one. I wish I didn't have to explain, but I feel like I would have had to explain because it's always annoying when you have to explain one.
But I mean, that's kind of higher level musician moment. Come on now.
That's true. Okay. Number 13. Les Miserables.
Okay. Why was that so funny to me? You sound like you're going to spit out some phlegm. Blech.
Well, that's kind of how you do it. Les Miserables.
I mean, that's very good. I never say it like that, but that's very good.
So
Okay,
I have
okay. This
some
is going to be a
mixed feelings
contentious
about
one.
this.
Yeah. Tell me all.
So I much prefer, this is one where I'm like, the movie is great for people who have not had the opportunity to see the show. And it's accessible, but no, not for me.
I'm going to stand behind your
like
comment
stage play.
100% on this. And I am, it's an interesting conversation topic is why? Why does Sweeney Todd transition so well and Les Mis doesn't? Because I agree. People who had never seen Les Mis on stage loved the movie. They can understand the story. You maybe follow a little bit better. They love the music. It was great.
Well, I don't know, because I think it's one of those things where Les Mis has such a grand feel that you think it would translate even better on film.
It didn't.
But I think because, not that it would take itself too seriously, but I think because it was trying to be really specific and expand, it just felt like it almost fell flat for me. Because like with
I
Sweeney
agree.
Todd, everything was heightened on purpose and very, it's like tweaked to feel different.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to just create what we might be imagining, like all
Sure.
the people for the battles and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that those could translate, but it's just not the same feel.
I will say I remember watching it and thinking, because I've seen Les Mis several times on stage, and it is I think one of the most beautiful scores. I love listening to it. There were a few scenes in the movie that I was like, ooh, like I actually really liked the opening scene, the very first scene of the movie. I remember liking that. There were so many other scenes that I felt the exact same way. Like, which one really didn't get me was Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. When I watched that in the musical, I am like, and this one I was like, cool, he's sitting at a table. I don't know what was different. I don't know if it's a cinematography. I don't know if it's
I don't
the direction.
remember that in the movie very well.
Exactly.
Do you remember? No,
Right? That's what I'm saying.
I've only
it's
seen it
forgettable.
once, and it was like 10 years ago.
So he's just sitting there, and he's great. I know everybody knocked on Russell Crowe, like just really bashed on Russell Crowe. Was he the best thing? No. Was he the best choice? In my opinion, no. Did he ruin the movie? No. I kind of felt like give the man a break type of deal. But again, if you have a musical legend that's going to be made into a film, please choose the right people, friends. There's so many other people that could have been chosen. And I think that's another topic of conversation too, is when they do these movies and they choose movie stars instead of,
just going to say star power.
Yeah. And I liken it to when they did, maybe next episode is going to be the live TV. We should do that on our next episode. Like when they did Sound of Music Live, Grease Live, Peter Pan Live. Oh, I could talk for 25 years. But I remember when they had
because spoiler alert, I've seen none of them.
Oh, shoot. Oh, well, then maybe you need to watch a couple
of the Lightnings.
You need to be able to chime in. But Carrie Underwood played Maria Von Trapp. And I love me some Carrie Underwood, friends. I mean, I love her. Please don't make Carrie Underwood be Maria Von Trapp. Please don't do that to her. Like, she's just set up for failure, sweet girl. Like, she can sing and she's beautiful, but like, y'all. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think the cast for me a little bit in Les Mis had something to do with it. Hugh Jackman's my second husband. He can do no wrong. He can play any role. But there were a couple of the other ones that I was like, and I feel the same way. I don't feel like it landed as well as it would when you watch it on stage. The emotional connection wasn't there for me. And maybe it's something about the music too, Christopher, like with an orchestra and the live passion of the singing, maybe because the music is so powerful.
But I think the weird thing about Les Mis is even with a large cast, because it has a good sized cast, but it's still minimalistic for what it is trying to portray. Yeah. And I think that intimacy feel gives you a little bit more of that connection.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So it sort of goes along with having that that passion live in front of you as well. I think that's 100%
It's powerful.
true.
Okay, what's next?
Yeah. All right. Mamma Mia.
Oh,
Here we go again.
okay. So I'm gonna go first on this one if you don't mind.
Go.
I think the movies are far better than the musical, than the stage production. I will take those movies. I will watch
Okay.
those movies. I don't enjoy watching Mamma Mia on stage. I'll close my eyes and I'll listen to the music. But I think the book for Mamma Mia
Tell me more.
is so terrible. The script for Mamma Mia is so terrible.
I know.
It's so terrible. I'm sorry, whoever wrote it. I don't even know who wrote it. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I'm just throwing my opinion out there. But like, it's one of the reasons I don't ever really want to do that show. It's like, there's not a lot to work with. And I know they did it at our school a couple years ago, and I thought they did a really great job. A really great job of pulling what they could out of it. I think it's so disjointed. I think it's a musical that's pieced together by songs, and there's the writing doesn't connect anything. Whereas in the movie, and maybe it's because it's Meryl Streep and she can do no wrong either, I freaking love her. I don't know. I love the movie so much more. I so much more.
Yeah. Great. I've seen them all. I mean, I've seen both, and I don't have quite, I think I have the same conclusion, just not quite the strong opinion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's another one of those that, like, that just reminded me, going back a couple episodes. If you haven't listened to it, we did an episode on the Jukebox musical.
That's right.
And I think that this is one of those that is a less success. It was still very successful, as people would declare success, but like with money. But it was. But I think you're right that it was one of those that just sort of got. They took music that was great and then tried to fit things around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just didn't.
And I
translate
love
as
me.
well as it should have.
I mean, the music I love. I'll dance it all. I'll sing it all. But I feel like I'll watch those movies. If there's a stage production of Mamma Mia, unless I have a child or a really, really, really good friend in it, I'm not going to see Mamma Mia on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch the movies, though.
Fair.
All right, what's next?
Okay. Next. Little Shop.
Ooh.
Little Shop of Horrors. Ba-da-bop. I know it's Bop Shoe Bop, but I just
Wait,
wanna
hold
do
on a
Bada
second.
Bop.
Little Shop was a musical first? Oh, no, it was what?
These are musicals made into movies.
But Little Shop was a movie first, wasn't it? Ooh, I'm a Google.
Google it. Go, girl.
Right? Am I
While
wrong?
you're
I could
doing
be
that.
completely wrong. I could be completely wrong. Let's see.
Well,
Little
we're going to find out.
Shop.
So
Of
while you're
course.
doing
Okay.
that, I think that
No, it's correct. So I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
interjecting now because my Google was so fast. So the musical. Are you laughing at me? The musical was in 82 and the movie was in 86. So carry on.
yeah. So what else happened in 1982, Sharna, that was so important?
We were birthed. We were birthed.
That's correct. We were correct. So there's things about the movie I like more, and there's things about the musical I like more. I like actually the plant stuff more in the movie, mostly.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's actually very cool on stage, but I think it just works better as a movie thing for me.
Okay.
But I do love it on stage to watch the animatronic plant.
I think
Eat
so. I
people.
think I'm the opposite.
Spoiler alert.
If it's done right, if you've never seen, come on now. If you haven't seen a lot of movie musicals, you gotta not. This is not your episode.
Yeah.
Switch to a different one. I'm gonna be the opposite. If this show
Okay.
is done well and you have a very good puppet and a puppeteer,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes the musical. Honestly, I find it. The last time we did it, well, the only time we did it, I guess. I've done it twice, but the last time was with you.
Yeah.
I think that it's iconic, and if it's done well, it's pretty impressive. So I think it's a cool, like, I've never seen Avenue Q, but I liken it to, like, it's what makes that show unique. And if you have good puppeteers and if you have good, like, dude, Audrey too, if you get a good vocalist in there, like, what a cool different type of
Yeah.
performance, right? I mean, there's no
Oh,
other
totally.
show where you have this voice of something that, I mean, I love that part of it. I will say, I love the music in Little Shop. The whole, the 50s, 60s vibe to me. I love that style of music. I love the characters. I like the movie because I don't want to say I grew up on the movie, but like I saw the movie so often before I ever saw the stage show. So I think
Yeah.
it's kind of like Newsies for me, where it was like, oh gosh, I remember this movie. And then seeing it on stage, I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, I know the idea of the turntable in the musical, that traditional scenic design I really like. I think that's fun. Like it reminds me of She Loves Me with the shop with the turntable.
Yeah.
I love that. And, you know, that style of theater. So I like them both the same. I don't think I like, I would say it is a successful adaptation for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I also like that lots of musicals have turntables.
They do.
I like a
It's
turntable.
Well, it's an easy way to do things. Really is.
Yeah. I also like that Rick Moranis was in it.
Yeah.
Because he's such a geek.
Yep.
Like he plays such a geek well. Maybe he was a geek in real life. I don't know.
I don't know. He hasn't done anything though, like as an older, like, dude, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I watched that show, that movie so many times when I was younger.
I probably had that movie full memorized at one point. And that was before I saw Little Shop. That was actually what made me interested in watching Little Shop.
Well, and Little Shop was a little more adult, you know? Like, I remember,
Yes.
like, you know, it's like, I had to wait a little bit to watch it. I remember, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was like kid movie.
That's right.
All right, what's next?
All right. Fiddler on the Roof.
I've never seen the movie. There's a movie, A Fiddler on the Roof.
Really?
What? I've never seen the movie
Really?
Fiddler. Yeah.
I thought you were making a joke.
No.
I'm leaving that long
I mean, I'm
silence
funny.
in. I'm totally leaving that long silence in the
Who's
editing.
in it? When was it made? What?
Okay, so it was made in 1971,
Oh, yeah. Too old for me.
and note to everyone: Sharna doesn't watch movies before 1982. All right.
Not true.
Um,
Who is in it?
yes, it's a. Oh gosh, I don't know. Let me go.
I'm
look
going to
it up.
Google it. My Google's fast.
Okay, you Google it.
Okay.
You're in charge of the Google.
Well, then tell me your thoughts on it.
I like the show better than the movie, but I don't know the movie that well. I'm also just not a huge Fiddler fan to begin with.
You know what?
I
I'm
don't
not
dislike
either,
it at
man.
all.
Right? Like some people. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering about the Broadway 64. Okay, it was 5 revivals, highly successful 1971 film adaptation. Let's see who was in it. Who played Tavia? Topol? I'm sorry, I don't know these people. Great. Moving on. Okay. The musical score composed by Bach with lyrics by Harnick was adapted and conducted by John Williams in the movie. That's kind of cool. I love John Williams.
I do too.
Fiddler, I think, is that show where if you've done it, it holds a super special place in your heart. I kids that have done it, grown-ups that have done it, people that have done it, have been in it. They love Fiddler. A studio I worked at years ago, they did it. I was out on maternity leave, so I didn't help with it, and I came back to watch it, and I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying watching the show, but I think it's one of those like specific, because there's some people that love Fiddler. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It's not my thing.
love it.
Yeah. Interesting that ranks higher than some of those other ones.
Well, when people love it, they love it.
All right, what's next?
All right, here comes. Original Broadway performance was in 1996.
Oh.
And
When was the
it's
movie
one
released?
that you and I both enjoy.
Okay.
And it's da 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 Rent.
Oh. Okay, can I tell you something that you're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie.
I was gonna say, if you're not seeing the movie,
No.
I don't love the movie. I watched it once and I'm like, no, thank you.
So that I could talk about Rent for an entire episode. Write that down. We're going to have a Rent episode. And I think, again, talking about how experiencing something, certain people, certain connections, Rent came out right at a time in art. And I don't know if this was your experience too, but I was just entering high school and it was like the thing. Like, it reminds me of these kids with Hamilton. Like, I played that CD out in my car. I could sing every word to Rent, backwards and forwards. I could play every role. I don't know. I've never even seen it on stage. That's a lie. I saw my friend play Mimi years ago, but it was like a shortened version. I've never seen the whole thing. I did watch the Rent live. Did you watch the Rent live?
I did not. Remember,
Okay.
I haven't seen any of them.
My bad. I actually didn't dislike that. It was fine. But I think, okay, this is going to sound weird, or maybe it doesn't. Do you read? Are you a reader? Do you like to read books? That's okay. We can still be friends.
No.
I'm not a huge reader, but I love reading. It just makes me fall asleep, so I can't read very fast or often.
I fall asleep too
Yeah.
when I read. I'm
It's like relaxing. But I liken it to when you read a book and you have envisioned and you have imagined. That's what's so cool to me about books. And then you go watch the movie version of the book and you're like, no, wrong, incorrect. That is not what it's supposed to look like, because you've created this. So Rent is like that for me. I played that show out so many times in my car, in my little Saturn with a sunroof, with Adam Lambert singing in the front seat, that now if I were to go see it on stage, I'd be like, no, he's supposed to be doing this. Like, I have created it. I did it to myself. But I love the music in that show, the timelessness of that show. If you go back and listen to those lyrics now, like, it's on one of my Peloton runs, some of the songs from Rent, and I'm like, like, I don't know. I love Rent, but I haven't seen the movie, so I can't evaluate the stage to screen component of this one.
I don't know. It somehow, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I just remember not loving it. It felt like it took some of the edginess off of the show.
It was too polished.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like that.
I didn't like that.
Carry on.
All right, what's next?
Hairspray.
Okay, but this is the one that I was talking about. So Hairspray was originally a movie, then it became a musical, and then it became a movie again.
Then I guess I'm going to break my own rule because it's on this list.
And I love it. The newest movie, I love it. I think it's better than the stage show. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the choreography. Have you seen it?
I want to say it. No. I was going to say, I want to say I've seen it, but I don't think I have.
It is, I don't want to say you'll love it. I think for me, the choreography alone is so brilliant. I love the way it was filmed. I think the cast is great. I really, really, really liked the movie, this new movie. I haven't seen the original with Ricky Lake, so I don't know how that is.
I'm not sure I knew there was an original movie.
Yeah. And then it became a musical. And no, I like the musical too. The one thing I like, the musical has a couple other songs in it that the movie does not. And I always hate that when you're like, oh, they took out my favorite song. I love the movie. I think it's very, very well done. I love the cast. I could watch that choreography all day. That was a big success for me.
I mean, it's got all these people in it. Like,
yeah, I mean, John
Zac
Travolta,
Efron, Queen Latifah,
she's
Michelle
fabulous.
Pfeiffer. I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, and you know what? Oh, she's so good in it. She's so good. That's actually a role I could probably still play on stage. Ooh, someone do Hairspray so I can go play Velma. Velma? Yeah, that's her name. She's
great.
so, when she does Miss Baltimore Crabs, oh my gosh. I want to play that role. Bucket list.
You are here for
You know
it.
what? Talking about Queen Latifah, I think in the movie they're really able to portray the diversity. And that's not the word I'm looking for. The segregation that happens. Like, scenically, you can do that on a stage. Oh, now we're in this part of town. Now we're in this part of town. But in the movie, they do a really good job of it. It's really beautiful the way that they do it. Yeah. Ooh, put that on your list to watch. Okay, I have two that are in my brain that if you don't say on this list, we have to talk about.
I have one that is not on this list that I'm like, how is that not on the list? And we'll
Okay,
see.
it might be the same one.
I would love that.
I have a feeling it might be.
Okay, so The Producers. is
Oh!
next.
Okay. Have you seen the
I like
show
The
or the
Producers.
movie?
I have not seen the show, but I have seen the movie.
Okay, but also, same thing. Was a movie, then a musical, then a movie.
Oh, yeah. That one I did know.
So Hairspray and The Producers. I loved the new movie.
That's true, because we talked about The Producers last week.
Yeah. But that's okay. I think it still counts.
It
Like-
counts.
I like it. I like the stage show. I saw it when it toured. I like the movie. I think it's funny. We both said we're not like huge Mel Brooks fans, but I like it. I think it's that whole Bialystok, the whole Along Came Bialy number where all the ensemble girls are old ladies with the walkers. I've wanted to do that number in showcase at my school for I don't know how long. Have you seen it? It's
I'm busy
hilarious
imagining it right now.
and they're all dancing with their walkers with the tennis balls on the bottom. Oh my gosh, that is so funny to me.
I think I have seen it. That's
And they're
like
all dressed the same. They all have the
cueing
same
a
gray
memory.
wigs and the pearls, and they're all like, beep. Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that can be part of our third act. Remember
Right?
when we're all going to move into the same retirement community and
do some shows.
a theater company.
Mhm.
All right, number 6, Cabaret.
Okay. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie.
I think I have. Wait, was that the one that we talked about last week? That we
Yeah,
said?
so it's on the other list. See, we gotta do our homework here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a movie. I'm looking at it right now.
I think you said it was a movie first.
That's what I think too. And then it was
and it
made.
went to the stage.
And have they made a revival of it?
Nope, it just says 1972.
Okay, Cabaret.
I was
musical.
surprised.
Cabaret is a 1966 musical. Candor and Ebb, Gotta Love Me, some Candor and Ebb.
Yeah, so last week had it on the wrong list, right? I don't know.
Well, when did the movie? Okay, so hold on. So that's the
72.
musical.
It was
Yeah,
a stage
so the
musical
musical to the movie. That's what we're talking about
Right.
today. We have it right. So last week was
yeah,
incorrect.
but last week, yeah, because
Get outta
that's
here.
what I thought. That's what I thought. Retraction. We're printing a retraction
So
on last
I know
week's
this is
episode,
like
everybody.
retraction. I know this is sort of like squirreling a little bit off the side, but have you watched the show Halston with our friend Krista Rodriguez?
No, I have not.
Oh,
I
she
knew
plays
was
Liza
filming
Minnelli?
it.
She plays Liza Minnelli to a T. I can't, like, we know Krista and we know she's
Yeah.
super talented, but I
Yeah.
was very impressed with her performance as Liza Minnelli in that show. Oh,
Nice.
you have to watch it. She's very good.
I'm making a list. I'm going to make a list
Yeah.
of all the things I have to
Yeah.
watch
Hey, that's a great show too.
in all of my spare time.
Right. Right. Okay, so Cabaret I've seen on stage several times. I love Cabaret. Again, I love
Yeah.
a piece about a historical moment. I love a piece that's about a historical moment wrapped in theatrical. I love that idea of
Yeah.
really speaking to something very serious, but having kind of this showbiz surrounding it.
Yeah, this facade,
Mhm.
the razzle dazzle, if you will.
Yep. Yes.
Um,
I love that show on stage. I like it when people don't lean too far into the naughtiness of it because I think it can be overdone in that way. I find that about Chicago too. I find that people think, ooh, Cabaret, we have to be so, and you don't. You can to the point that it's appropriate. Same thing with Chicago. I've
Yeah.
seen a few productions of Cabaret where I'm like, whoa, friends, we're not doing Rocky Horror here, like bring it on back.
yeah.
I love Cabaret. I think it's a great show. I'm too old to play that role now, but man, that was a bucket list role.
I like the stage version. I've only seen the movie once or twice. I think I don't remember loving it. So I'm a
I haven't
big fan
seen
of the
it,
stage
which is
version,
so
though.
embarrassing. I feel like I need to put that on my list.
As you said last week, all are welcome here, Sharna.
Right? Thank you.
All
Thank
are
you for
welcome.
accepting me.
All right, number 5. I hate everything about number 5. Are you ready? Annie.
Yes. Oh.
I don't like the movie. I don't like the musical. I'm just
Well,
not
okay,
here for
but Annie for sure was a movie first. For sure.
1982.
Right? It wasn't a musical before that, and then it became.
Well, to the
I'm gonna look it
Google.
up. I do not like any of the new Annie musicals. Just Annie movie, musical. 82 is the film.
Yes.
Okay. But was it a musical before? Oh, yeah. 77 was the musical. Wow.
Yeah.
So in my brain, I guess that's like an era thing for me. Because I
Maybe.
was exposed to the movie first. Right?
Right. So you're like, the movie came first because it came first in my life.
Okay, but have you seen the original Annie movie?
Yeah.
I love it.
Whatever.
I love it. I will say one thing that lands short for me in the movie is
We
choreography.
can still be friends. It's okay.
I wish there was more choreography, like
Yeah.
more like cuter, like more dancing, like kind of like Newsies.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up on that film, so I love the film.
All right.
But I
Well,
love
we'll
the
see.
stage
We'll
music.
see if I give it another chance as my
Yeah.
children grow older.
But I love
They
the
will
sta- I think
probably watch
Annie-
it.
Yeah, you should. You should. They probably like it. I love this. I love the stage show too, though. Done that too many times to remember. And I think itty bitty orphans running around the stage throwing things in the laundry basket is so cute. So they tie for me.
Great. All right. Number 4, Grease. Go, Grease, lightning, go.
Grease is the word. Is the word. Wait,
I am not a fan of Grease
the musical or the movie?
either.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not like
Interesting.
an anti-fan. I'm not an anti-fan. I'm just like, meh.
I like both.
I did the
think
show in high school, or played for the show in high school, and it was fun adjacent, but I don't love it. And then I think I've seen the movie, but it's been a really long time.
But was great. This is like tripping me out, some of these. So the film was in 78. But
Correct.
when was the musical written?
I'm loving this episode right now.
Well, because we're learning. We're learning things. I'm
We're
Googling.
learning together.
We're learning things. Grease the musical, 59. Oh, no, it's set in 59.
Yeah, I was like, it's literally in the
For-
era it was written.
Really?
Oh, I
Wait,
don't know.
No.
I thought that's what you said.
71, the West End. Okay, wait. So Broadway in 72. And the movie was in 78.
Yeah.
Dang. I'm learning so many things. So,
I'm so glad I could bring this to bring education to
Yeah.
all, including us.
well, here's the deal though. So Grease, I say this to a lot of my students, they're like, let's do Grease. I'm like, hey, Grease. I played Rizzo in Grease, probably one of my favorite shows to be in because it's so damn fun to be in that show. Who does not have a fun time being in the 50s, wearing a pink lady's jacket? Like, oh, I loved being in that show. Watching that show, kill me.
Yeah.
Kill me
Nope.
quickly. I'm so over that show. I can't watch it. Nope. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Interesting.
The movie, I love Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, so I'll watch them do You're
So
the
there
One
you
That I
go.
Want over and over again. It's cute.
You're the one that I want.
But the music in the musical is far better. Like, what's that playing on the radio? Duty's song, like they cut that out of the movie, and yeah, I stage show is probably better. Okay, moving on. Sorry, Grease.
Great.
Grease is the word.
Nope, please. Grease is the word. All right, this is a new one. It's newly a movie, I should say. Harkening back to Rent, there's a Rent connection. If I give you that, will it possibly trigger any guesses?
There's a Rent connection. Is it
Yeah.
a performer who is in Rent?
No,
The composer?
it is the
Can't be.
composer.
What? Oh, Tick Tick Boom.
Yes.
Haven't seen the movie.
Me neither. But
And the
I've heard
kids-
it's really good.
Yes, dude. Okay, that is going on my list. The kids have said, the students have said that it is very good.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
anything
can't always be trusted.
about
However,
that show. Yeah, I don't know anything about that show.
I don't really know much about it either. But I do know that it's like kind of a biographical music about his life.
Okay.
So
I feel like I need to
So
watch
that's
that.
kinda fun.
I'm going to need to watch that.
yeah. All right, number 2. I love number 2. It's a classic,
Yes.
and it's Julie Andrews as
Sound of Music, Mary Poppins.
Maria.
Sound of Music. Yeah.
Sound of Music.
I
That was one I grew up on, like watching all the time. So that
Yeah.
would have been my like. I watch it all the time. I had every note,
Yeah.
every lyric, every word memorized at one point.
love the movie. I love the musical too. I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you the story about Jerry, right? His
I
like
think so.
thing. His Sound of Music. It's the same thing with Oklahoma and King and I. He grew up on those movies, and so the first time I took him to see Sound of Music on stage, he was like, "No, why are there no children hanging in the trees?" I'm like, "Well, honey, we're on the stage,
There's
so they can't hang in the trees. There's not going to be a
no real trees.
no. There's not going to be a convertible car. No one's jumping in the lake. Like that doesn't happen, my love. We're on stage. So I think if you have that iconic movie in your head, and that's what you started with, right? I like both. And my kids really love the movie.
I like both
Sound of Music
too. And but I grew up on the movie, and I didn't see the stage show till way later. I don't know. I was definitely an adult by the time I saw it.
Also, you cannot
So-
mimic the hills and running around on the hills like
No.
Maria von Trapp with a drone,
Correct.
which it wasn't a drone, it was an airplane because they didn't have drones back then. But
That's
you
correct.
cannot mimic that. I don't care
That
how
is
beautiful your sets are.
Such an iconic scene.
Yeah.
That is so iconic.
Oh gosh, I love me
And-
some Julie Andrews.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one that the movie wins for certain things like that.
I can
Because you
get
were
on board with
able
that.
to take, because you're able to that's the thing where you take something which they tried to do with Les Mis, but again, with Les Mis, they were just trying to expand the scope, the size of everything, and it didn't translate as well. Whereas here, it's like, oh, she's actually in the hills.
Yeah.
And we can like see what that
Totally.
looks like in the Alps. And like, it's so beautiful.
We only have one more. I have
All
three
right.
that we have not said yet.
Great. Well, this one is a double movie. They made 2 movies.
Okay.
They did a movie just recently,
Okay.
2 years ago, which I have not seen the new one.
Okay.
Everybody says it's great. Da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun,
Oh, West Side
da-dun,
Story.
dun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've seen the original movie though, right?
Yes, I have, and I do prefer the stage musical to the original movie.
I will agree with that. Again, these kind of, I think it's our era, right? You get a kid, a teenager right now. I don't think any of them would, I don't want to say side, but choose the movie West Side Story over the musical because I think they're going to have been exposed to the musical first, right? I love the movie West Side Story. Again, watched that far more before I saw the stage production. I do love the movie. But I love the stage production. My choreography brain can't not love that show. If that choreography is done right in that show, and I love the music in that show too. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
da-na-na-na-na. Come on with the snaps
on.
and the whistling in the beginning. I love it. I love it
And
so
there's
much.
just so much. There's also so much dichotomy in the score.
Yes.
Like there's such open, like somewhere has almost nothing happening musically. Like it's so open and drawn out. And then you have things like during some of the fight scenes and everything like that is just so chaotic and crazy.
So
and
cool.
there's sounds in that orchestra that I'm like, what's happening? In
I
like
love it.
25/8.
I love it.
That's not literally what it's in, but it's like crazy time signatures.
Yeah. But it's like,
great.
that's what makes it cool. Like, some of these more modern shows, I'm not knocking on modern composers, but you go and everything starts to kind of sound the same. West Side
Yeah.
Story, every song is like different. And like America, I love America.
But I
Again.
think there's something to be said for that fact because Bernstein is a classical guy.
Yeah.
He was classically trained. He came
Yep.
from the classical world first. And so you get that complexity and
Yep.
training
So true.
in that. So
The new
again,
movie.
do your ballet, get that classical training.
Seriously. The new movie, I had mixed feelings on it. I think
Yeah.
I liked it. I would watch it again. There are things for me, again, like that are staples to the West Side Story. So when those things were kind of missing, I was like, no, what? But there were things they did change that I was like, oh, I kind of like that better.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, Steven Spielberg, come on, cinematically, the show or the movie
Yeah.
was very, very well done. I think you get so much, but again, speaking of the like 2 different worlds, like Hairspray, you get that feeling so much more in the movie of West Side Story, especially in this newer one of like, where these people live and where these people live and the different worlds they live in, they can really capture that so much better than you ever could on stage.
Yeah.
I liked the new movie. There were things about it that I was like, no, but I'd watch it again. I liked it.
I'll take that pass.
Yeah. Okay. There are 3 missing for me on this list.
Okay. So there's 2 for me, one of which I actually haven't seen, movie or musical, but I'm surprised that In the Heights is not on here.
That was one of mine. You haven't seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
I've seen In the Heights on stage 3 times. I've enjoyed it every single time. For me, it was obviously our introduction to Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I remember thinking, wow, this is super cool. The music's very interesting. I love the rap. I love his, like, he reminds me of like Eminem in like the cadence of what he does. Yeah. And I remember seeing it on stage and really liking it. The movie is perfection. I love
you have no
the
faults.
movie. I love it.
You can
a lot
find
of people,
no fault.
I didn't. And you know why? Because with the movie, you could again really see where these people were living, really see the barrio, really see these places, like where stage can do that, but not in the detail and the extent that you can in a movie. And I love the choreography in it. I love the way they added kind of this modern flair, like in one of. I don't want to tell you too much about it because I want you to watch it.
No, it's okay.
That was one of my ones that was missing.
Basically, what it is.
But they do this whole in one of the numbers, like they turn the building, like visually, like editing wise, so they're like giving this dream thing, and they like dance on the build. Just these cool cinematic choices that you could never do on stage, and I think it really added to it. I really liked it. I love that. Yeah.
The other one that is not on the list for me, and it's on the top of my brain because I just saw it the other night, is Chicago.
That's the one I was thinking of too. Give me your thoughts. Because you are you've done Chicago several times.
I have done Chicago a few, I think two or three times, at least 2. I've seen it a couple times. I've seen the movie a lot, actually. I actually really like the movie for the same reason that I like the what was the other one that we said translated super well? Because even like Sound of Music, but like it was able to expand on the things that that we were imagining, and you can't really do as well on stage. Like even the courtroom scene with Razzle Dazzle, bringing in a full circus and things like that. So I liked it a lot, and I really like Chicago, except for I'm just going to say that I was not in love with the production that I just saw this week.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
I think
because I want to be supportive of all performers.
Yeah, very nice. You're allowed to have an opinion. I think for me, they don't go together. Like there's Chicago the musical and there's Chicago the movie. They're so different for me. I think it's the Fosse.
They are.
I think it's the I don't think Fosse is portrayed well in the movie, if I'm being honest. Like not the person Fosse, the dancing. I think on stage you can get that much better. I think the stage production is a bare bones vibe and the movie's not, and I like them both the same. I just they're not
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the other thing, which I guess maybe was a good choice for the movie, because I don't know. I was just surprised about the Mary Sunshine thing.
Yeah.
That they.
Yeah, I wonder where that would be an interesting thing to research, like why they didn't have a man play Mary Sunshine. Yeah, because I think that's one of the best parts of that show, if done well.
Not
if you really don't
as
know.
It seems.
Well, and when so my friend has played that role on Broadway for the last 20 years. I mean, he is Mary Sunshine. He's the Mary Sunshine. And you would not know.
Well, then he's coming on the podcast. Thank you.
I love when you can't tell. Like oftentimes when you do it in youth theater or, like it's hard, like they can do a pretty good job. But even if you can fool them for that first scene, not fool them, but like you're buying into it, and then you're like, wait, what? I love that reveal. Yeah, the movie.
Well, the funny thing is, I went with all the seniors from this year the other night, and the Mary Sunshine was not as good as I was hoping.
Yeah.
Now, most of them apparently didn't know the show very well. Like, a lot of them hadn't seen it. A lot of them didn't. Yeah, because when there was the reveal, like, they were all losing their minds. I was like, people of the nation. Okay, great. I have failed as a musical theater teacher. So I was just, it was funny because he didn't do a great job. And so many of them at intermission were like, yeah, that Mary Sunshine, I don't know what, she is not great.
So they thought it was a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it translated well.
Yeah.
But so they were all dead.
That's great.
My favorite was one of the students like loves Chicago and like I think has seen it a number of times or something, or maybe she's a fan of the movie. I don't know. But they forgot that it was a girl, and so they were dying behind me too.
That's so
I was
interesting.
like, wow. Okay. Yeah, apparently that's not a feature that sticks with people.
Welcome.
I don't know. Which
Welcome
is cool.
to musical theater. Welcome to musical theater. Okay, one more.
Which is cool.
This is turning into a fun long episode.
Yeah.
The reason it's probably not on the list is because it just came out. Can you guess? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
If it just came out.
Like just recently, within the last several months.
Oh gosh, what just came out? I need help. I need a clue of some sort other than it's recent.
We are revolting children living in revolting times.
Matilda. I don't know why I said it in that
Matilda.
accent, but there it is.
There's a Russian scene at the end of it. I'm not a huge fan of the stage show, especially having lived in it for the last, several months. I love some of the music from it. I think the movie is brilliant. This new movie with Emma Thompson, she is so good. The girl they cast as Matilda is so perfect and charming and not polished, and they did a very good job with the movie. I really liked it.
Nice.
I think a lot of people who are Matilda the musical fans, the Wormwoods, Matilda's parents, are kind of not an afterthought but left out, whereas in the musical they're a very big part of it. So I really liked it. I thought it was really well done.
Great.
You have to watch it.
I love that.
All right, that list is not terrible. I think that list was good.
It's not.
Yeah.
That was better than last week's list.
Yeah. Well, last week's list I feel like was from
so-
1902. We need to redo it.
Just well, the funny thing is I try to get how I kind of pick some of the lists is not necessarily the source, which I should, but I like to pick more up-to-date ones. So I'm like, if it was written in like 2015 versus one that was created in 2022, I'm going to take the 2022 one.
For sure.
So anyway, okay,
All right.
cool.
That was a fun
All right,
conversation.
well, yes. Okay, everybody. Here we go. So subscribe to us subscribe and like on the YouTube. Then also the YouTube. And follow us on the Instagram at Charnopher Official. And if you forget any of this information, it is in the show description on here, episode description, and on our website, uncommonpod.com.
That's right.
Come and check it out. And on that note,
Charnopher out.
That was really long. Out.
Out.
This concludes another episode of Uncommon Sense. If you're ready for more of this fresh, hilarious, and unique perspective on the world of entertainment, education, and life, be sure to subscribe right now to catch every episode. If you gasped, laughed out loud, or even snorted, share the show with your friends and aspiring entertainers because, let's be real, sharing is caring. For more Charnopher, tune in to their witty insights by checking out the website uncommonpod.com or connecting on social media. Tune in next week and get the real insider scoop on another episode of Uncommon Sense.